Many thanks for choosing us. We're a home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Several people have been injured after a bus full of passengers veered off the road. The Metro Mass bus, which was carrying about 67 people, was heading up north from Midday. It somersaulted into the bush at Balkuri on the Tamale-Yendi Road. We can speak to our correspondent, Martina Bugri, for more on this. Martina, bring us up to speed. How did this happen?
Having spoken to some of the passengers, they said that they left Midday around 2 a.m. this morning and went heading towards Tamale. When they got to Sang, suddenly they saw that the driver was struggling with the steering wheel and the vehicle lost balance, hit a culvert on the roadside and then moved into the bush. And some are alleging that he was sleeping, but they are unable to tell. None of them said they saw him specifically sleeping, but they say that from the way the accident happened, they suspect he was sleeping because there was no pothole or anything that they saw him swerve or want to avoid, and so they believe he was sleeping. I was at the hospital a while ago. I spoke to the public relations officer. He says that 16 are being observed, and they'll be observed between 4 and 6 hours. And if nothing happens, then they will be discharged. He says everybody is in stable condition. 10 people have already been discharged, and they have 2 kids among them. He says one has a head injury, and doctors do not think it's a serious issue, but they are going to have further investigations, and then they can come out with a finality.
Martina, has the police been to the scene? What have they been telling you?
There's a policy from the police headquarters that they don't have the right to speak to any media person in the regions, and so the police are unable to give us any information. They are referring us to the national headquarters for any information.
How is the driver faring? Was he also part of those injured, or he's safe?
Yes, he was part of those injured. When I went to his bedside, the eyes were closed. I was told he was resting, and so I said they shouldn't wake him up. The son wanted to wake him up, but I asked him not to because the doctors had said that he should rest. And so he's also injured. I saw some blood oozing from the shoulder and parts of the hand.
Martina Bugri is our correspondent in the northern region, updating us on the accident involving 67 passengers on the Tamale-Yendi Road. Back here in Accra, Ghana's response to the deadly Marburg virus is under threat as it emerges. There's a lack of awareness on the disease in the country. The virus has already claimed 2 lives, with about 98 people placed under strict surveillance by the Ghana Health Service. Although 31 have been discharged after clearance by authorities, many more people across the country have less or no knowledge about the virus. Here are some of them who spoke to JoyNews earlier.
Well, I don't have any idea about the virus you're talking about, but then I think if it is here, then there has to be a need of educating people about it as well. I think if it's a virus and it's around, I'm sure it's killing people in the system, so people should be well aware of what is happening around us nowadays too. So it's here, and the COVID-2 is here as well. I think it will be good that the government educates us more about this virus.
Yeah, I'm very much aware about the new virus that is fast spreading all over. And it's a caution to everyone to be careful, just according to the conditions given regard the COVID-19 virus.
Well, I just heard it, in the news that it's killing people. But it is a task for the government to make sure that, we take this announcement serious, because, when the COVID came, it's like more or less people were advised to take, some measures in order to use the masks and other things, washing our hands regularly and all those things. But here comes the case, this one too is becoming serious, something that is killing people, and you talk of zoology and all those things, and this is a sickness that we don't know whether we have the cure for it. So as much the government is concerned, much more, education should be passed on the general public in order for us to create much awareness on this.
I haven't heard of it. I only know of corona.
I didn't hear anything about that.
So I am innocent.
Which virus? I've not heard about it. I listen to the news a lot, but I've not heard about it.
Actually, I've heard of it in the news, but I did not know much about it. And then just like COVID-19 came around, and then we were much educated, and then it was all over in the news. The last one I heard was Omicron. So with the new one, I heard it in the news, but for the details, I don't know much about it.
It is today that I am really hearing about it. I actually haven't really looked at it, but I don't know why we are faced with all these challenges this time around, and I pray that our big men will try and do something about it.
Already, the Ghana Medical Association is calling for a return to the safety protocols instituted for COVID-19. Titus Bayo is the General Secretary of the Medical Association.
Based on the actions taken by the Ghana Health Service so far, I think I have confidence that the situation will be contained and we are not going to die. But we should be aware that this is a disease that has a very high fatality. And COVID doesn't come anywhere close to this. In fact, a colleague joked that this is a senior brother of Ebola. We never saw Ebola in Ghana, but we saw the devastation Ebola caused in other countries. So containment, prevention of spread is what we need to do. And for us, the general public, it's not for us to be alarmed and scared, but be vigilant.
Virologist with the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research, Dr. Michael Owusu, is recommending an emergency sensitization campaign to boost public awareness on the virus.
For many who have come into contact with these patients, they are an observation, they are being monitored with the hope to see if any of them will manifest the signs and symptoms. If not, then of course it means that we are doing well. But then in case you have some of these experiences, then we have to raise the alert and see how best to deal with them. But the aspect of education is what is a bit on the low side because we know bushmeat animals are one of the major reservoirs of this virus. So at this level, we need a lot of education for people to understand that we are dealing with something more different than COVID. And therefore, those who are highly dependent on bushmeat and handling dead animals or processing meats for food or restaurant have to be very, very vigilant. If possible, reduce or put a brakes on some of this. I think that having some more education, especially in the local language, at these communities would be very helpful to possibly reduce further transmission in case you have the reservoirs still circulating in the community.
The World Health Organization is requesting the sharing of information among countries in West Africa. Here's country WHO Director, Dr. Francis Kasolo.
Closing of borders will not help. I think we do not advocate as the World Health Organization closing borders during outbreaks. Rather, what we need to be doing is sharing information across borders and pulling together resources to be able to heighten our surveillance, that is the ability to detect any cases that may cross borders. I think that's the best way of addressing such an outbreak. Closing of borders does not in itself prevent the infection from crossing borders, because as we know, the borders in most of our countries are so porous that really it's an exercise in futility.
So what's the Ghana Health Service's response to this emerging health situation? I've been joined by Dr. Abuaje Da Costa, who is Head of Health Promotions at the Ghana Health Service. He joins us with more on this. Doc, I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. You just heard quite a number of people we spoke to who have no idea about the virus. Is that really a health promotion response to this?
Sorry, I'm struggling to hear you.
I'm saying that we just spoke with some people on the streets of Accra who say they have no idea about the virus. Is there any health promotion response to this?
Oh, thank you so much. So the regions where we have the case, contact tracing has actually been going on. And obviously, because we are a decentralized service, the regional health directorates have actually taken charge and they are doing education in those regions. But for the national, we are also putting in place a robust nationwide awareness program, which over the weekend we worked on our strategic plan and everything. Now, we've developed some materials with what we call the frequently asked questions. We will be rolling that out, but it goes through certain approvals. So we are now going through the approvals for clearance. And once we get it, we will roll out a comprehensive campaign to educate the population. But I can assure you that this is the initial stage of the response, and the regions are taking charge for the public education in terms of, obviously, based on our structure.
Doc, so what are the implications of the obvious lack of knowledge on the fight against this virus?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is, some of the safety protocols for COVID are still relevant, and what I will encourage the population to do is to continue to wear their face masks, wash hands frequently with soap and running water, and here the social distancing is still vital if you can, and do not handle the bodies of people suspected of dying of Malbec. Yes. So with this, I think people should be vigilant, and the hygiene protocols are very, very important. But the most important thing is if you have unexplained bleeding through your eyes, nose, gum, ears, anus, and skin, please report it immediately. If you are vomiting with blood, please report it. If you have high fever, please report it. Joint and muscle pains, please do report it. And headache too. It's just a matter of being vigilant and following what the steps I've just given the population.
We are aware that 31 out of the 98 that were put under strict surveillance have been discharged. What's the condition of the remaining 67?
I think it's a matter of days. Like I said, I think it's the surveillance system continues to monitor them. And it's a regional-based, obviously, management. So once we get information from the region, aside the 31 that has been discharged, we will share.
Dr. Abuajeda Costa, I'm grateful for your time. He's head of health promotions at the Ghana Health Service. And still on health, the non-payment of allowances to continuing nursing students is affecting their effective training. According to the Ghana Nursing and Midwives Trainees Association, over 1,000 students who rely on their allowance to settle their school fees were prevented from writing examinations due to their inability to settle their fees. Several others are unable to take up clinical practice at hospitals because they cannot afford. It's been 11 months since government defaulted in the payment of allowances. The association has been speaking with Love FM's Nana Ojima in the following report.
On a monthly basis, an amount of 400 cedis is paid as allowances to students in the nursing and midwifery training colleges. Though many have argued the relevance of the allowances, the present government continues to assure students of willingness to pay, hence its restoration after taking over power. Victor Abiri Awene is president of the Students' Representative Council at the SDA Nursing and Midwifery Training College in Kumasi. He is able to keep himself in school from the money he makes by working at a pharmacy shop with support from family and the monthly stipend from government. During the last clinical practicum, Victor was unable to fully fund transportation to the hospital and to feed himself, leading to absenteeism sometimes.
This unpaid allowance, it has affected me a lot. Because personally, I do pay my fees with a little support from the family. Okay, so I depend solely on the allowances and other activities that I do at home. Some other educational activities that I do, which will generate money for me. So it do force me and other colleagues of mine not to go for clinicals, because going to clinicals you have to go for money to rent. Also, we have to educational visit, which we who don't have money to support ourselves, do fail to go for such educational visit. So how are you going to explore or give out our best when you're doing the paperwork? Me the exams. We do fail exams because of all these things. Because one, you have to go to work and practice. Okay, I do go to clinicals when I get money. But anytime that I don't have money, I don't have I can't have access to the car to go there.
For 11 months, Victor, like other trainees, have struggled their way through school. At the moment, he is skipping class to increase work hours at his part-time job to enable him deal with 5,000 cedis he owes in school fees.
Okay, if government fails to fill all my areas, then I will be tempted to do much. Okay, like assuming the little that I'm doing, I'm forced to do something bigger than that so that I can support myself, because I cannot boycott the school. Some of my colleagues, especially me, I work with one pharmacy. Okay, so I have to go there weekends and also check my timetable. Those courses that I know I'm good at, I have to skip them small so I can get a little money to come. Because if it means staying on campus, I'm not happy. So what mentality do I use to go to class? Okay, so I have to go home and do other things, like to go and work with the pharmacy, so that at the end of the day, I'll get my PhD and come back to campus so that I can survive.
Continuing students at nursing training colleges are owed 11 months arrears of allowance. Newly admitted students are owed 4 months and rotational nurses are owed 9 months. The leadership of the students says many of its members are unable to cater for their education due to poor finances. They spoke at a press conference.
For too long, we have been taken for granted. For too long, our needs have been left unattended. For too long, our pleas have been swept under the carpet. As an association, we are abreast with the development in the country, and we are well aware that the engagement of the government with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. We also understand the government has a proposal to be vetted by the fund for economic growth. We would like to indicate that we aren't expecting our allowances to be affected in any way. And there can be no reason for such a thing. Looking at the philosophy of the fund, interested in cushioning those who need help, we believe strongly that there won't be anything that will against the cushioning of allowances trainees to survive. Any attempt to cancel the allowances in the quest for the bailout from IMF will face the fiercest resistance of the trainee nurses and midwives.
Artisans and spare parts dealers at Swami Magazine could soon heave a sigh of relief as construction contractors working on the Swami roundabout are trying to work around the clock to complete rehabilitation works. Officials of the construction firm say at least 1.5 kilometers of asphalt overlay on the Nurum Hotel Anomanyi Nkwanta Road will be completed this Friday. Asphalt foreman Moses Nakoli tells my colleague Ohim Interior contractors have resolved the acute shortage of bitumen as the firm imports some of the product from Togo. Let's go live to Magazine in Swami and speak with my colleague Ohim Interior, who has been there, who is pitching camp there for more after what happened yesterday. Ohimi, what can you report from the Swami Magazine after what happened yesterday?
Yes, Aisha, I can report it's a normal day here at the Swami Magazine industrial area as artisans and spare parts dealers and also buyers of spare parts who also and other people who want to also patronize the services of the artisans go about their normal duty. I spoke to a couple of them who told me earlier that what they did yesterday was as a result of anger. They have been unhappy with the fact that the construction firm working on this particular road project has come, removed the surface of the road, created an avenue for the area to be dusty, and there's something that has been affecting their business and also affecting the livelihood of people who live and also work from this enclave. And so they exploded, to express their anger on the visiting MP and his entourage. Back here at the construction site, this is the Anomanyi Nkwanta Nurum Hotel stretch of the road. The officials of the shop construction firm are busy fixing the road. A while ago, the asphalt foreman, Moses Nakoli, told me, come Friday, we are going to at least provide as fast overlay on the particular stretch, covering about 1.5.
Interior is at the magazine in Swame, where artisans nearly threw pelted stones and sachet water on their member of parliament, who is also majority leader in parliament. We'll try and get him back to tell us more on what's happening there. But right now, the Trades Union Congress is calling for the total overhaul of Ghana's pension scheme, as it says a few privileged persons are benefiting from the sweat and labor of others. Speaking at a press conference in Accra, Secretary General of the TUC, Dr. Yalban, said the current system does not provide a level playing field for workers.
We are demanding the total overhaul of pension system in Ghana to be fair. The current system is unfair to many workers. A few privileged individuals are being paid huge sums of money from the SNE scheme every month at the expense of ordinary workers who are contributing to the scheme from their meager salaries. You can't believe that one person earns 140,000 every month from a scheme which pays 300 Ghana cedis for people. And so the essence of social security and national insurance is completely gone. What is social security about a scheme which pays 300 Ghana cedis? And I can tell you, if it were not the board which actually even push it further to 300, there will be some people who are earning 100 Ghana cedis or 150. Then somebody on the same scheme is earning 140,000. This does not exist anywhere. If it were an occupational scheme, it may be understandable. But on the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, we should change it. So, comrades, even workers who do not contribute towards the pension scheme, we have some workers in this country who do not contribute at all to the pension scheme. They receive better pensions compared to those who are contributing to SNE. This has to change, comrades.
The TUC is also vowing to end what it describes as a class system in pay administration in favor of Article 71 office holders. Secretary General of the TUC, Dr. Yalban, says although government has agreed to pay 15% cost of living allowance to workers on the single spine salary structure, the TUC is determined to work together with other labor unions to end the unfairness in remuneration for public sector workers.
In the last 3 years, we have been reminding government that our labor laws must protect workers. But we are not seeing and hearing anything from government. We were promised that the labor law will be reviewed. That's 3 years ago. And that also remains an issue for us to confront. And that's exactly what we are going to do. We need to have a labor law that protects workers of Ghana. That is why the struggle must continue. The TUC and its affiliates, we have our eyes and minds firmly fixed on the outcome of the single span review process, which is currently underway. We are determined to work together with other organized labor groups to end the unfairness in remunerations for public sector workers on the single span salary structure on one hand, and those under Article 71 and in some state-owned enterprises on the other hand. I want to repeat this, that TUC, we have our eyes and minds on the process which has started. And that process is that government is reviewing the single spine salary structure. And as part of that process, one of the things that we are expecting is that the inequities between Article 71 office holders and all those of us on single spine must be eliminated completely. Yeah. allow the class system in pay administration in favor of Article 71 office holders to continue. It must end now. That's what we say.
The Journey to Justice Ghana Coalition is urging government of Ghana to contact the Gambia government to claim the $600,000 compensation allocated to victims and survivors of the 2005 massacre of 44 Ghanaians and other West African nationals in accordance with the directive issued in the Gambia's White Paper on Gambian Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission's recommendations. It's been 2 months since the Gambian government accepted to pay that compensation. What's the plan and timelines in effecting the payment? Project manager of Journey to Justice Ghana Coalition at the Center for Democratic Development Ghana, Regina Ofurua Amanfo, tell us more.
Just 200,000 over a little over 200,000 USD is woefully inadequate, and that is why we are calling on the government of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and government to, as soon as possible, engage the Gambian government and start renegotiating for this amount because it's woefully inadequate, as we have stated, and also lay down modalities and measures to ensure that they get this reparation as soon as possible. And the reason we are recommending this as something that is urgent is that these are very vulnerable people, poor people who have nothing. Some of them, because of what happened to them, their children have lost out on education, their parents have suffered a lot. And if there is a reparation, I think it's appropriate for the president to show a very serious interest in it and as soon as possible ensure that the Gambian president starts paying this reparation to the victims as something that is urgent. If this had happened in Europe or States, I'm sure we'll be looking at millions of dollars. But looking at Gambia, we know they are also in economic difficulty. So the list that I will recommend is 100,000 USD per head. So we should be looking at with 56 victims. We should be looking at that over millions of dollars, so that the victims per victim, 100,000 USD, will be something that is moderately appropriate. At least, as I stated earlier, it will not bring back life, but at least something that they can also fall on, and then at least cushion them a little bit for the pain.
We're still live on JoyNews today on the JoyNews channel, and if you just joined us, we've been talking about a number of stories. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest coming from the world of business.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center has said it is working tirelessly to attract more investors into the country to expand the economy. According to its Deputy Chief Executive, Yao Amwati-Mfuye, regardless of the global economic crisis, the center is engaging various investors across all sectors of the economy for more foreign direct investments. He was speaking at the Global Africa Business Dialogue with stakeholders.
Ghana has seen a surge in foreign direct investment inflows, recording an impressive $2.6 billion worth of inbound investment for the year 2020. The trend defied the anticipated steep decline in FDI flows as the second wave of COVID-19 infections and the current global crisis threatened to cripple the Ghanaian economy. Yawa Martin, speaking at the Global Africa Business Dialogue with stakeholders, maintained that Ghana is still a favorite destination for investment within the region.
At GIPC, we believe an investment-led approach under the Ghana Cares Obatampa program is a policy worth pursuing. The Ghana Cares goal is to mobilize 100 billion cedis worth of investment inflows into the country to finance priority initiatives and projects. By implementing Cares, the government has set for itself an ambitious target to attract and retain foreign direct investment, ring-fenced for manufacturing, agribusiness, healthcare, housing, communications, infrastructure, services, and tourism. There are two broad categories. One is private sector led, and the other is government of Ghana led, and is typically in the form of public-private partnerships and has larger ticket size of between $50 million and $1 billion upwards.
President of the Ghana-India Trade Advisory Chamber, Dominic Oduro-Entry, called for more collaboration for trading partners on the continent.
Yeah, basically, Global Trade Advisory Chamber or Global Africa Trade Advisory Chamber is there to unite first in trade and business, education, agriculture among African countries to the rest of the world. Don't forget that we have now the Africa Continental Free Trade. It's beautiful, but there are certain things that we still need to do. And like I said from my statement, within Africa, if we have problems with visas, I'm not talking about ECOWAS, just among ourselves, we cannot have access to go to Ethiopia. We are paying for visa fees. Then how do you go about doing business in a very smooth way? So one of our objectives is to be able to drum home or to bring up some of these things to bear so that we can be able to work and work properly, and that's why GATAC is, or GATAC is, it's around. We live in certain times that, look, we cannot continue to depend on others, especially the Western world. We should be honest. Why are we not trading among Africans? Why are we not doing it amongst ourselves? Why do we always have to rely on somebody else? The time is now.
The business dialogue is aimed at bringing stakeholders within the business community to delve into issues confronting trade in Ghana and beyond.
Now, some students of the University of Ghana Business School are calling on government to be prudent in spending to save the economy from a collapse. The students addressing issues confronting the Ghanaian economy at the maiden edition of the Joy Business Town Hall meeting at the University of Ghana Business School said government needs to review some initiatives, including the Electronic Transaction Levy, Free SHS, and Planting for Food and Jobs initiative.
The maiden Joy Business Town Hall meeting was held at the R.S. Samagashi Hall of the University of Ghana Business School. The initiative is aimed at advancing conversations about everyday happenings in the business ecosystem and a medium to prefer solutions. The four-member panel enumerated a number of economic issues that touched on Ghana's growing debt stock, inflation, interest rates, e-levy, and the decision to go to the IMF.
Figures currently show that Ghana loses about 5 billion Ghana cedis through tax incentives and tax evasion, which means that if we are able to put in the proper mechanisms, make sure that people don't invade our tax system, make sure that these incentives given to these multinationals are reduced, we can actually raise some revenue that can show us up.
What I believe the country can do, in addition to fiscal policy adjustments, is that we can consider supply-side policies. Now that we've identified that, it's cost-push inflation that we are facing, we can find out that what goods are driving the inflation rates of both food items and non-food items. What food items are driving the month-over-month increase in inflation? Is it bread? Is it gobe? We don't know, but we have to find out as a country and know that, okay, we know that A, B, and C is what's causing inflation. And the government implements subsidies, tries to reduce the cost of production for these goods.
Presenting their expectations ahead of the 2022 mid-year budget review, the panel said they expect government to pursue policies that would reduce the country's debt.
You realize that our exchange rate keeps increasing since the beginning of the year. It has really depreciated. And so I expect that exchange rates, items, or expenditures such as the external interest payments would also increase. And that will also increase our expenditure.
Considering the accounting concept, which is the prudence concept, I think I wouldn't anticipate to make so much money when I think there's another option. You're anticipating that, yes, the citizens will pay the e-levy so that you'll be able to work for them. But why should you anticipate when you don't have any proof or any grounds to stand on that, yes, the citizens are going to pay? So the best alternative should have been the IMF long ago, about some months ago.
The panel advised government to protect homegrown policies.
And there's more business news on the marketplace ahead. Sports, stay tuned.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. Today, now young rapper Photocopy has premiered his new song tomorrow, featuring South African corner hitmakers Uhuru. The opportunity for the young rapper to collaborate with his mentors was a dream come true for him. In an interview with Joy Entertainment, Photocopy requested the public to support his work.
The sky was lit up with fireworks as Ghana's youngest musician, Kelai Nana Kwache, stepped onto the stage at the Foresight Music Mansion for the official release of his new song and music video titled Tomorrow. The song, which features corner hitmakers Uhuru, was produced by DDT and partially recorded in the famous Kalawa Jamii Record Studios at Johannesburg in South Africa. The energetic crowd did a countdown before the line array speakers started buzzing the chorus, Tomorrow, Tomorrow. The child star is hoping the new song will enjoy massive digital streaming, just like his school debut song, which has now hit 1 million views. For Photocopy, this song is a dream come true because he was born the same year the global hit song Kona was released by South African music legends Mafikizolo and Uhuru. Even as a baby and a boy, he danced to the song.
And on that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News today. Good afternoon to you, Aisha.
Hello, Becky. That's a sad one there.
Yeah,
May his soul rest in peace. And that's how we wrap up news today. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Log on to myjoyonline.com. You'll get more of the stories and updates of developing stories, including Ghana ranked second among countries with highest debt default risk in 2022 by Bloomberg. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.